What is the Capital One online assessment and how can you pass it? Before we start, I want to let you know why I am the right person for you to discuss the Capital One assessment. My name's Bruce. I'm a former BCG recruiter and part of my consulting offer, where we've helped a lot of aspiring consultants pass the Capital One online assessment on their way to getting their dream consulting offer at Capital One. Let's get started. Before I discuss the assessment details, let me give you a brief overview of Capital One. Capital One is a bank holding company that specializes in credit cards, auto loans, banking, and savings accounts. It is one of the largest banks in the United States. What makes it different from other consulting jobs? Well, Capital One is unique because it is a bank with talented internal consultants. You'll be working on internal strategy consulting work with the benefits of the tech and financial services culture. The major difference between strategy at Capital One and other firms is that you will focus on the financial services industry for the products Capital One offers. The recruitment process consists of 4 steps. First, you need to submit your application. Second, you need to take their online assessment, which is the topic for this video. Third, you will go through the first round of interviews, which consists of 2 interviews. And lastly, you will go through the final interviews, which is made up of 4 interviews. All right, now that you know more about Capital One, let's now move on to the main topic for this video, the Capital One online assessment. The Capital One online assessment is divided into 3 sections: behavioral and situational judgment, numerical reasoning, and verbal reasoning. It typically takes about 60 minutes to complete, so you should allocate about 20 to 30 minutes per section. Let's look at each section of the Capital One online assessment. First, the behavioral and situational judgment section. Capital One's 2 core values are excellence, performing at the highest caliber and encouraging others to match you, and do the right thing, driving the business in a way that is focused on doing what's right for the team at Capital One and the community of customers. During this portion of the Capital One assessment test, you may be asked how you would respond in certain professional situations. Often you will be asked to rank multiple responses. Don't get caught up in the details of the situation. Think about what your guiding personal principles should be based on Capital One's values and rank the responses based on that. Here's a sample question where you need to rank the answers from best to worst. A colleague asks you to help them with an analysis. You've done something similar recently and know how to help them, but you have a deadline that day for your own project. How would you respond? Tell your colleague to ask another teammate because you have a deadline. Ask your colleague about their deadline and if you can help them once you've finished your assignment. Email your manager and see if they can push back your own deadline so you can help your colleague. Help your colleague and send your project to your manager the next day. Pause the video now and think, how would you rank this? All right, welcome back. What's your answer? The answer should be ranked B, C, D, and A. The answer is B. You should prioritize meeting your own deadlines, but be flexible enough to support your colleagues. You want to think about how you can demonstrate these values in the Capital One assessment test. Okay, let's move on to the next section, which is numerical reasoning. In this section of the Capital One assessment test, you will be given math problems to solve, and you will also be provided with charts and data tables to interpret. The math will be more difficult than typical consulting case math. Capital One often requires break-even analysis or optimizing profits among different options. Let's look at a sample question. You own an ice cream shop and have an extra staff member who can make ice cream tomorrow. Which type of ice cream will generate the most profit? The key facts are, you charge $35 per gallon for each ice cream. Your staff members will work 8 hours. The employee will make full gallons of ice cream, not partial, rounded to the whole number they can make in 8 hours. What flavor should your employee make? Okay, pause this video again and come up with your answer. Welcome back. Let's solve this together. So the correct answer is chocolate, and you will earn $109 in profit. Did you get the correct answer? If not, don't worry. Just do a lot of practice and you'll surely pass this. The next section is called verbal reasoning. This section evaluates how well you interpret written text. After reading the text, you'll be asked to assess if the statement is true, false, or cannot determine. Remember to focus on what's written in the passage you're given and don't include any of your own external knowledge or perspectives. Let's look at an example. How would you answer this statement? Santa Claus lives in the North Pole and makes presents with his elves. One night a year, he rides a magical sleigh with his reindeer around the globe and delivers presents to well-behaved children. If a well-behaved child writes Santa a letter and asks for a gift, that child will get that gift. Santa Claus lives in the North Pole and makes presents with his elves. One night a year, he rides his magical sleigh with his reindeer around the globe and delivers presents to well-behaved children. If a well-behaved child writes Santa a letter and asks for a gift, that child will get that gift. Johnny sent Santa a letter asking for a Nintendo Switch. Santa will bring Johnny a Switch this year. True, false, or cannot determine? Pause this video now and choose your answer. All right, welcome back. The answer is cannot determine because we don't know if Johnny is a well-behaved child. So we don't know if Santa will bring him a toy. Okay, did you get that answer correct? If you want to pass the Capital One online assessment test, I have 3 tips for you. First, do a lot of practice. The Capital One online assessment test is produced by SHL. On their website, they have a lot of practice tests that you can take. Second, during your preparation, answer as many questions as you can within the time limit. The numerical reasoning exam lasts about 35 minutes, and the other sections might last 20 to 30 minutes. Third, and this may sound pretty simple, but it's very important, find a quiet, comfortable place where you will not be disturbed. As I mentioned, this test is online and can be taken anywhere, so pick your test location carefully. And that's it. That's all the information that you need to know to help you pass the Capital One online assessment. And if you're taking an online assessment like the Capital One online assessment, we'd like to help you. Comment down below the name of the firm and the test you will be taking, and we'll share with you some useful resources to pass it. For example, you could put down Capital One online assessment if that's your upcoming online assessment. And if you are serious about becoming a consultant at Capital One or another amazing firm, we would love to help you. My team and I are former consulting recruiters and interviewers who help applicants land interviews, prepare for any assessments like the Capital One online assessment, and pass the interviews so they can land their consulting offer. To date, we have a 90% success rate. That means 9 out of 10 applicants who work with us land at least one offer, and we have helped over 800 people already land a consulting job. Click on the link below to book a call with our team to find out more. Booking this call could put you one step closer to landing your offer at Capital One and other management consulting firms. But you don't have to take my word for it. Hear it from Julian. Julian was able to pass the Capital One online assessment and land his dream offer at Capital One despite having no casing experience. Okay, that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video.